Hello, hello, hello to the audience, listeners, wherever on the end of the world. Welcome. And today, in February 16th, 2025, Sunday, February 16th, 2025. As usual, we always try to bring topics that are of interest and that are trending, meaning that then current, and then the hot issues that we people in the talk about. And sometimes, if not to the people and say they talk about that, but as we see the parliamentarians, them or the one the way they the power structure, they try to deal with. So we need to bring it to the attention of the rest of the country and those who have any interest in listening. So, as you also know, Nina Mohammed Shyllon, with me are two distinguished presenters, Mr. Jallo Jamboria and the eminent Mr. Victor Mengot. So I hope we three go try for make the program interesting, I believe, as usual. And we look forward to people calling in, making suggestions, asking questions, making contributions. So today we will deal with topics them we go deal with, of course, like I say, things of national interest. So top on the list when we don't finish for do the introduction, it will be the terrorism law where they come up with, or anti-terrorism law where they come up with recently in the country. And then, of course, will be planned for Lincoln, which the cyber law, but it could be too much in one go. So we decide to say the cyber law aspect or part of it will be a continuation on another day as another topic. So we'll try to deal with the Terrorism Act itself in relation to the Constitution, the Counterterrorism Act. So in relation to the Constitution, we will try to talk about how it looks or how it look to we, whether it's a properly thought out, well-crafted bill or law where they want for pass, the quality or the extent or the substance, let me put it that way, the substance of the draftsmanship, because we see a lot of aspects in it where not look applicable to we current situation in Sierra Leone. So it doesn't seem to us somehow that is tailor-made for us. It's just like what we call plagiarism, where you just take another person in work, you just change names and places, pronouns, nouns, and then kind of thing, and make them we own. But too well disguised for let it look like we own, because a lot of things they will go get for raise questions about how that affects, how that they involve with people in freedom, the various freedom, the due process rights, the freedom of harassment, the protection of property, the protection of life, the right to reasonable search, and on and on and on. So we will try for touch basis on those things and see how much of that. I mean, laws are not perfect, so we have to know when to make laws. That's like a science. Not like the law of gravity. We get specific rules. Not to show laws now people and they think of something, then they craft something and put them and try to make it into effect. So a lot of times laws get better when they're being challenged, when issues are raised. Then I saw with this fine-tuned law take account to which it's supposed to be or how it was intended to be. Okay, so let me just go ahead and before I turn on over, I just remind you about the various numbers they want for call in case you get any questions on the minds we want for contribute to or raise. So these are the numbers. As usual, a lot of you are familiar with the numbers then, but we have to do it every time. So on the VOS network, we get a North American number, where we call a toll-free number. And for North America and Mexico, Canada and the United States primarily. So the number now 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. It will cost you nothing, or it not will cost you anything if you call that number there. And the reason why, even if you can afford for call by paying, the reason why it may be smart for you to call this number, because you may be number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7 on the queue, the calling queue. So if you stay that long on the line, it can cost you some money. So I encourage people to call the toll-free number. Also, if you call from England, United Kingdom, you can call +44 2080 8991 891455. Again, calling from England or the United Kingdom, +44 2080 891455. Likewise, if you're calling from Australia, there's also a free number where you can call when a +61 2909 84337. Again, +61 2909 Australia, +61, I'm sorry, 2909 84337. If you call, we'll get all the number when the universal number when a WhatsApp where you can call from anywhere, whether you're in North America or whether you're in Australia or whether you're in England, or you can call from that number there. And the WhatsApp number when a 1-343-997-5828. 1-343-997-5828. We also get the VOS radio in Freetown, particularly if you're in the western area of Sierra Leone, in Freetown in particular. You can call in 91.9 FM, 91.9 FM. To get good transmission of what you go on the radio, you'll be well advised for download the Google Apple Play Store app or the Google Play Store app, the Apple Play Store app or the Google Play Store app, or again, let's go over the Google Play Store app or the Apple App Store. Yeah. So if you download that one, you can able get we clearly as you're supposed for Gateway. There are other areas where we also then carry we on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and then Facebook. If you go on the VOS network, on Facebook, it could be VOS Salone, Voice of Salone TV. I'm sorry, Salone, Voice of Salone TV on Facebook. On X, which used to be Twitter, you'll go on VOS Television. You will be able for reach we. Then you also get VOS TV website. You get a website so you can go on your computer, you dial in, or you tune in. It will be www.vostelevision.com. vostelevision.com. On the radio, if you want for Gateway on the radio through your computer, then you can also go now www.vosradio.com. If I be able for reach we. Then I don't mention the Apple, the Google Play Store, and the Apple App Store, where you also can go and try for reach we. So we get one other area, our source where you can able reach we. They call Twitch, TWITCH TV. If you go on, so you just do VOS television on Twitch, you should be able to reach we. Also, I think we get a diaspora non-profit program. Away now www.vosdiaspora.org. www.vosdiaspora.org. And I give scholarship to meritorious and picking them with them papa or them parents them Them parents them not get the money, but they want to see them picking and get education, the picking and do very well in a school. So with that said, let me pass it over to my co-host, Mr. Jamboria, who in turn will pass you over. No, let me pass you over to Mr. Mengot, who in turn will pass you over to Mr. Jamboria. So to you, Mr. Mengot.
Well, thank you very much. Family, don't come back today. And as the lead man at the team, the man, the sage, the older one of we all, don't talk say today we can look at the Counter-Terrorism Act and see how then they reflect on issues to do with personal safety, empowers them. And also then they, as we say, me next man where they join me, and I ain't go take the lead on that. But also with this program, February is a very important month because three things happen in the transport sector. Number one, this is not the first anniversary of Waka Fine, but then they not we talk today. They also don't start for ban the Okada then. For during the way they out, we don't know it in Okada. Okada and then commercial motorbike. We not got much panande before, and it's still going on. Then recently, we get press release from the State House and action from the State House where they say an operation for clear Freetown of their broker vehicle them and also limit activities that way relates to garages and then other things the way they block the street. But we'll talk under a general topic, which now how we they manage the urban space. So with that, now handing over to the next man, when I at the anchor for this area where they can start with, when at the Counter-Terrorism Act, when we colleague Mr. Jamboria.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Fambul them una good evening, una good morning, good afternoon. Temine se afoma mina piari. The mende man se bonde shabia naka uyena. Today we will start for discuss this issue of the Counter-Terrorism Act. Every country, the first duty of a government now for provide security for the people. And that justifies the provisions of laws for safeguard the people. They also justify the establishment of institutions and agencies for ensure say then go with then laws they are for provide the safety where the people they need. But that's notwithstanding, we get to ask certain questions. Law, will they make in a country? Will they make them because we want to protect certain people, or will they make them for protect everybody? I get a reason for ask this question because sometime around 2018, 2019, when this government came into power, they began to accuse the opposition party as terrorists. Some years down the line, we've seen a lot of things happen. Now we are coming with a counter-terrorism law. I'm not going to answer that for now. Just they ask the question because we go deal with the law as it should be dealt with. And I believe say along the line, we go find the answer to this question. The other thing we demand the question is that coincidentally, we don't know maybe not that promotes this law, but somewhere in between the law, the bill, because not to law it, the bill, as it was sent to Parliament, dated for 2024, we don't pass, we make the bill still a bill, but if you say it's a law, then that's dubious. We don't begin hearing about drug issues in Sierra Leone. First, it begin with Kush. It begin with accusations here and there on certain people being involved with Kush. Now we don't see an internationally wanted somebody. We don't even create a situation of exchanges between the government of Sierra Leone and the government of Netherlands. So we are asking, was this law or this bill a product of the fact that those in authority are aware, say, drug cartels, they don't come into Sierra Leone, and wherever there is drug cartel, there is the possibility for terrorism. But again, as I say, we not go answer, we will find out as we go along. Before I deal with the issue technically, I want to make certain proverbs. Albert Einstein say, one cannot solve a problem using the method that caused the problem. I go repeat them. One cannot solve a problem using the method that caused the problem. If there is room for terrorism in a country like Sierra Leone, we need to ask, will the law be efficient enough to stop it, or are there other social issues that we need to address? We will come to all that and at a later stage. But for now, let we go and begin look at the Terrorism Act. What in this act wish for do, and what are some of the weaknesses we get? One, the act or the bill as it is, because it's been called the Counter-Terrorism Act 2024, a time period that has elapsed, but it is still in the form of a bill, and not become law. The bill, they try for establish a counter-terrorism committees and agencies. Now we take note, committees and agencies, plural. Secondly, the definition of terrorism-related offenses they pan the bill. We'll get for look into them definitions then they. Thirdly, it provides for financial monitoring and restriction of funds linked to terrorism. This third part gets a lot of questions. Because who determines what is a terrorist fund? If somebody is doing business, he gets an official line for the send money through bank accounts into an account in Sierra Leone for the purpose of business. Can that be termed as a terrorist fund? Who determines it? Number 4, it provides for law enforcement powers, including surveillance, search, seizure, and preventive measures. That's fine. That's fine, and they don't get no problem. That's normal legal activities. Then, number 5, it provides for mutual assistance and extradition in international terrorism cases. That's also fine. Because when you say mutual and extradition, not so you they make the law. It's an international law that you have to go by. And so that one, we cannot question it. There are international legal instruments on terrorism where I believe say this number 5 get for question. But let we continue. Let us look at some of the key issues them on this law. Number one, the law they established three key bodies. National Counterterrorism Committee, where they provide policy guidance and advisory recommendations. You get a National Counterterrorism Coordination Committee, we're responsible for supervise and coordinate counterterrorism efforts. Then you get Counterterrorism Fusion Center, where they operate intelligence hub for counterterrorism operations. The question here is, why do we need all these three institutions? Can't we have one institution to perform all that operation? Look at the United States. Look at the United Kingdom. And added to that, I believe we already get institutions where the mandate and terms of reference, they're within their scope there. We get in the army, we get in the police, we get the National Security Agency. So why do we need to double these institutions? In state affairs, when you have too many commands, it will lead to a lot of problems. You can forget an established chain of command in any way connected with the state. Otherwise, you will create problems where, of course, go sort of assist what you want stop. Even within the military, when they come for international action, then they create a singular chain of command. You know, they get soldier from Pakistan, soldier from Burma, soldier from this, they all come for a peacekeeping mission, all man get your own chain of command. They're not going able to do the operation. And this is exactly what we see this thing being, this document establishing. So this is an issue where we need for point out. And I believe, we need for take, because when you have too many cooks, they boil the pudding. And of course, when you have all these institutions whose security and assurance we get somebody within those institutions or somebody in a place of authority don't go misuse one of the institutions here for personal purpose. You see, we get for be careful. We get for be careful when we make laws. Otherwise, the laws will be inefficient. Number two, I want to come on terrorist-related offenses and punishments. But before they go to that, let we look at the definition of terrorism as it is on this bill. First and foremost, the definition is very broad. The Act defines terrorist act broadly, covering political, religious, economic, and ideological motivations. This means they can criminalize political dissent or activism. Anybody will grab for, say, let we go protest. Anybody will say, no, I don't agree with this, then can call them a terrorist. Is that right? As a matter of fact, international human rights bodies they don't begin raise issues with this definition of terrorism. And I believe sometimes now one of the reasons we delay the passing of this bill. The other side, when I concern, when they talk about harboring, recruiting, and indirect support of terrorists. There is a risk that this can be misused. Because no law not in this world will they punish somebody for a crime committed by somebody else, except if the person in know about the crime but in all report them. That is what is called in law misprision. I would stand to be corrected by Mr. Shyllon. When you know of a crime that is about to be committed and you don't report it, automatically it don't make you an accomplice to the crime. But if you say you dey go hold person in fumble, or you dey go punish person in fumble for a crime we commit, that one is not a legal method used anywhere on earth. And it is indicated in this law. So that's the risk. Also, except in extreme cases. But I not think say, I stand to be corrected, we get a lawyer now. But I not think say legally right for go seize person in property because of a crime. I stand to be corrected. Osama bin Laden, the biggest terrorist who would ever hear about. In Pekin and in family, then still they then get them property, they wouldn't get. They not go seize them property them because them papa have been terrorist. So why should we do it in Sierra Leone? These are some of the legal concerns. The other side them about the penalties, the issue of possession of arms and explosives, that one we cannot question it, because if we want security, the state has to take action about those things. But that the things that I don't highlight so, then very, very serious. Because if this law pass as it is, that means political parties will be exposed to misuse and abuse. Political persons will be exposed to misuse and abuse. And the other side of it is that people with genuine businesses, if they are not in the good books of those in authority, may fall victim, because then go say that money wey they transfer from this country to we account now this country now for terrorist purpose. There is no way you can say no. Then go either seize you money, then jail you, or then do some other things to you. But as I say, we are going to discuss this topic step by step, and as we go along, we go to see the implications in them. We go see whether it's good for we or it's not good for we. If I reach at this point, I want to invite Mr. Shyllon, the legal mind, like come on board and maybe address some of the issues them worries.
Thank you, Mr. Jamboria. The point them the way you raise, these are very, very, very serious points. I like when you talk about how the current bill, where then they refer to as an act, and it really is a misnomer in the sense that enough will be called an act. It's a proposed bill, which until it becomes a law is not an act. And of course, naturally, since it has as part of its caption 2024, I hope, and it looks like by the time they finish, we're going to reach 2026. So I hope they could take that year label out of it and just call them the anti-terrorism bill until such time where it mature for become an act. And whatever year that may be, if they want to put the year along, which could be or would be appropriate. the definition of terrorism, as Mr. Jamboria just indicated to we, he is concerned, so am I. So anybody, and we just bring them here to people their attention, because we know how sometimes how short-sighted politicians can be, how politicians can have what you call fish brain. Fish brain, if you don't ever go fishing or you see out in the fishing, fish, if you throw a bait to the fish, it swallow the hook and the bait, you yank them out of the water, just for proof a point, then you take the hook off in gill, you send them back in the water, and they come back for the bait if you send the bait again. They don't forget what happened to them just that few moments there. So a lot of politicians then a fish brain they get. And of course, they don't get vision. They don't get empathy. Empathy meaning put yourself in the position of others. And they don't get sympathy for the damage when they cause to others. Okay, because if they do, then laws they come up with, particularly cyber law, anti-terrorism laws, then premature for we country at this point. There are better and more important things than government can tackle. There are more pressing issues than cyber violations or terrorism. And someone will have to convince me that we get terrorism problem in our country. We don't reach that level yet, but they make them a priority. Okay, now, from a constitutional standpoint, any law, and this I want to let the lawyer then back home they read this because I keep saying it. Well, lawyers are yet to get used to defending cases on constitutional grounds. Then they defend cases mostly based on acts, this act of that act, this act passed by this act. Go for the Constitution because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And let me remind we lawyers them again, say Parliament itself has to make laws where they're within the Constitution, not beyond. So any law where Parliament pass where breach any or violate any aspect of the Constitution, that law is unlawful. So people have to get used to Parliament to pass unlawful laws. Not to every law where Parliament pass lawful. But how do you determine the lawfulness of that law if you know like this is where we have some, the only avenue for that would be the courts. So that's why we need well-trained judges. We need well-trained lawyers who are very much astute in constitutional law and can, you don't even get to be a scholar of constitutional law. You just get to take interest and make sure, say, the fundamental thing you get to do, even when in charge of client, even for a traffic offense, if I make sure, say, that client, what you say is violate or is being accused of, that law they would violate for be consistent with the requirement of the act of Parliament passed, and consistent with that act therefore be consistent with the Constitution. So, as a basic rule, or as a general rule, any law in a constitutionally constituted democracy, what we get, any law, way broad, way vague, way subject to multiple interpretation, is unconstitutional. That would be ground number one. If the law is so broad, as to be encroaching on other rights, get a clear definition, that of itself is enough grounds for strike the law. People need to begin to understand. We need to see that now, Sierra Leone, we have to begin to see that, because if we want to deal with Constitution, otherwise they'll scrap the Constitution. Judges are supposed to start getting used to striking certain laws. that are unconstitutional for various reasons, one of which is vagueness or broadness. We not get used. We might not get adjusted to that yet for it to look at a case or a look at a charge being brought against somebody and say this law violates such and such section of the Constitution, therefore is null and void, and dismiss the case with prejudice. And when they say dismissal with prejudice, you can't bring the charge against the person again. Let Parliament go fix the law. But until Parliament fixes that law, that judgment day by the court, particularly if it's a high court or a higher court, becomes the law temporarily until Parliament do something. So these are some of the things. Then Mr. Jamboria had raised so many issues. Then, like we say, overlapping of responsibilities by committees on the same issue. As he say in English, they say, too many cooks spoil the food. Mr. Jamboria give an example of that. And he say, and they ask the question, why they not go bring all them various committees here where they put one is there a need for 3 committees? Well, we already have existing agencies then where they handle all types of laws, all type of violations. So what are the purpose behind making all them subcommittees here or them committees there? And as I always say about Sierra Leone, I think we will win an Academy Award for names. We know how for National Counterterrorism Act, National Coordination of such and such and such, Terrorism Future. We're good at that. I mean, I don't think any country can beat we. In fact, we need to establish a worldwide competition for giving names and to laws on stuff. Sierra Leone will win every time. But that's all we're good at. Beyond that, it doesn't seem like we do anything serious. So the institutions there, what would they talk about? The overlapping of the responsibility does nothing but dilute the effectiveness of whatever law would pass. We need a singular head in the chain of command. So some of them point out what Mr. Jamboria raised. I agree. Now, they talk about the certain laws them. If you are aware, if you refer to a law called misprision, we talk about, we call it accessory. Of course, we get both. We get accessory before the fact. That is when you know people are about to commit a crime. And they're about to get the ability to effectuate the crime. And then do them, then commit the crime. Then, but you don't participate, get nothing to do with the crime itself. You could be charged with accessory before the fact. If you enable, by your silence, if they can prove, say, that enable these people to carry out the crime. They will get accessory after the fact. People then go commit bank robbery, then take off, they're looking for them, the guys there, in fact, they may go and talk before they go commit that crime day. Then they plan that crime day, then, so you can be charged for both accessory before and accessory after. Even though you don't participate, you're not going to, you hear it, but you make like you don't know, if they can prove that. But we need for strengthening with laws. The problem what we get now in our country is that we don't know for what purpose laws are being passed. Is it to target a group? Is it to target a person? Is it to target a certain locality? So we don't know. But the idea behind passing a law, not for the goodness of a country, but for target and punish and oppress a certain element of the society, is counterproductive. It's not good. It's not something we should try because it pays no dividend. So with some of them here, let me just touch on. This is just going around what Mr. Jamboria talk about. We need guardrails. Like Mr. Jamboria gave the example, suppose you send money from abroad to Freetown for any purpose, but lawful purpose. Who makes the decision that money? But Mr. Jamboria give $100 as an example. But let me say $10,000. If one within the law of international money exchange regulation, you send $10,000 go Sierra Leone. Who is to say that money is for terrorism of terroristic intent, or that money they now for other purpose? Suppose you're building a house, which is a common practice back home. Because there's so many things where people are abroad in relation to activities back home is very common. Building houses, now one. Taking care of your family, now two. And so on and so forth. So if one make laws, we can take laws from other country, but we have to look at we own uniqueness, and try to tailor that law the way it fits we, so as not to get innocent person in trouble. But the intent with which we pass certain laws them seems kind of dubious, and suspicious. We not think, say, some of these laws are being passed with the best intent, now with some dubious motive. Let me stop there. I know I want to take up too much time because we've been going for a while now, and Mr. Mengot has not even said anything as yet. So let me stop here and pass you over to Mr. Mengot.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much to Inatu. You see, the way we would operate this program here, we work as a team, right? We get Mr. Jamboria, we spend more time working in Sierra Leone than me and you. So he knows some of these challenges better than we. Of course, we get Mr. knows the law. Man, we don't practice law for almost, we go 5 decades. You must do that to him. Because as you say, we Africans, they will like parable. And Mr. Lek Dandy. And Chino Achebe said the lizard that jumps from the Oroko tree and landed on his stomach. So if no one praises him, he will praise himself. So Shyllon, you see why they shake your head and like condone for say, well, I don't do it. Me, they come from the angle, I want to take them from Musa. I think for this, how they make law, governance, and institutional setup. Because experience in making laws, or mostly on transport and traffic, in the UK and Africa. Because when you make law, you get to look and say one, and I don't know one sip and then lawyer. Whose other law they are where you go either they against or support? And I want to let Mr. Shyllon talk about this one between you, because some of the things they're waiting at the law, where they talk about surveillance, seizure, and such. These are the things which we as people individually guarantee under the Constitution. It will rob much pandan small. Freedom of association, freedom of speech, the right to belong to a party. As Mr. Jamboria said, we say in your area, the right to become to a trade union.
Yeah.
All those rights. So if you say that association, they say let's somebody the way they know they suspect, associate them with them for other reasons. Can I be charged as supporting terrorists or counter-terrorists of the pitfalls? Aside, when the law say, then they can establish counter-terrorism committee agencies. We don't get boku committees there. Now look at the existing agency to deal with some of the issues that way would relate to terrorism. For instance, we get the Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU. It is. Financial Intelligence Unit now we country. Then they look into then kind of thing the way they talk about money laundering, illegal transfer of funds, misappropriation. We already get a unit there. Then we get ONS, the Office of National Security, which was created due Pakaba in term. I would say ONS, now like England MI5 and MI6 combined, or the American FBI and CIA combined. Office of National Security, it gets wide-ranging powers, although they don't go add some other things to the women agree with when a disaster management. You cannot sue the Office of National Security at times, although we get another agency where they deal with disaster management. Police Special Branch, very effective, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, we get for look at. Then we get, of course, the Criminal Investigation Department. In the same police, we get CID, we get ONS. Now we don't see a situation where sometimes somebody go say, Mr. Met, they talk book, or they do something so alone, and go invite me for go CID. Now I invite them, they invite you. They say, Boka, we want to talk to you. So if person go even Congo, that man they associate with big, then they can invite you. And what that is of you, your freedom, and also access to justice. But then the broad Sarah I want to talk about, where they make law, or look at also, apart from the other law, them, how it relates to the other law than they. That makes comment in the Constitution. But also, it will it cost to implement that law. It's very important. Because if they create new agencies, then one of the agencies the way for do drug prevention, they don't even get enough vehicle them or enough staff. So when you create the agency, who should they pull the money for pay for them? And we talk about bloated wages, individuals, and not money. Also, they talk about the people that we get from mandate agencies and they train a day. How impartial they. We know say even when we take the committees, right? Successive government, the previous government one and government before that, when then they make them committee then they, you get people their way. Now as it pleases the man where they set the committee. I just say as it pleases. Recently, we talk constitutional committee then when they set for this constitutional review, and some of them tell that this terrorism, counter-terrorism act, it gets on the constitution, and we talk about constitutional review. So, my final point is, what they make law, we do for people then, and both me colleagues and don't talk about. Are we law for the general for certain people then, and they make law for people then. The people then get for involved. This is a very serious issue. We get MPs that they pay. The MPs are the people they work 2 times and they get income for life. We know that. When they work for that income, when they law there, let them go back to their constituency. Themselves to people, let people then question them. Say, if I do so, I will give one last joke. A man gonna cut with a charger. So when they charge him, now the case, the main witness, they ask and say, this man, nine commit the crime, c'est pas, he look fibaramu. Any man waiting at the dog say, take note of your. If I mean not to me, similarity in offense, so long not get that situation, similarity for be offense. Now me no more for talk on this case here. Over to you, Mr. Jamboria. Jamboria or Mr. Shyllon, if you have much more than the counterterrorism law in relation to Constitution, especially Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which gives rights to them. And also, remember, say, the Constitution say, see people from men get legitimacy. So if the people that get something, they make law get for affect them. If you not make them for let them get involved and look at them, I think say that law, go hold water. So now me no more get for up and this. I see we don't get fundamental principles of state policies. So I would left to line a gentleman for going to that. I don't know but I'll come back to you.
Okay, since the topic is mostly Mr. Jamboria, I will give the lead. Then whatever has, I can add me on little bit to it. They look at what is posted on.
Without reading the whole of Chapter 2 of the Sierra Leone National Constitution, first and foremost, no law now they exist where they are above the Constitution. The Constitution of the state is the primary law of the state. When you look at this terrorism bill, you see certain areas
I'm sorry.
in that bill will contradict what in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, especially in the area of security of the citizen, the area of association of the citizen, the area of the financial situation, and the restrictions where this bill come with. The Constitution Chapter 2 is very clear about waiting for the rights of the citizens, waiting for some of their obligations to the state, and waiting for their duties. You see, this financial issue, we have to be very careful with them, because as Sierra Leone's, there are a lot of institutions where they collect monies for send to them people them for help them with their welfare. I've been used that $100 as an example. And right enough, Mr. Shyllon talk about the international limit for individual money transfer. But there are provisions for registered institutional money transfer. When you have a registered institution, you can send any amount of money. And another point we'll get for make clear, let everybody hear it. All these money transfer agencies have license to function globally in any country of their choice. I am saying this categorically because it's a job I did here in Norway for 3 years. I left them because I got elected into a municipal council. I've been getting other things for do. But money transfer, in any shape and form, they abide by international financial rules. Why are they cow at this point? Let me say, I send money to an institution at Sierra Leone where they above $10,000. Boye Jallo is known all over social media because me they tell them how they turn. Then can interpret and say na money for terrorism. But one point I want to let them get clear. Any money where they left a country of origin that is sent through money transfer or any other financial medium, that money is financially cleared in the country of origin. Otherwise, it will not move. Every country gets the money, the financial authority would check for money laundering, terrorist issues, etc., etc. Normally, monies for terrorist acts don't go through banking systems or financially authorized systems. That is one of the loopholes in this law. They're not clear about which money they will classify as terrorist money. I make this point because I know the rules in that area. If I send $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for somebody from Norway, before that money will leave Norway, it has to be cleared. First and foremost, the person gets a form way for fill declaring the purpose for the money. Secondly, that money has to be cleared by the financial authority before the agency they release them, otherwise it's not going to be released. These are some of the things they need to know, because down yonder, na different planets, all man they do elect. Everybody sabi everything na Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone is not on planet Earth, it's somewhere else. Maybe Mars or planet Oz. But they are international instruments where they guide them things here. So then therefore be very clear on the bill itself what constitutes terrorist financing. They're not for just left open as it is, because it will create a lot of complications. And when then complications they therefore begin to take shape, what thing will happen is that it's going to discourage investment in the country. Because no investor not go take him money, send in a country, then go charge and say, in a terrorist. We therefore be clear about that. The other side, we're very important on this issue is, let we ask, to prevent something or to cure it, which is best? If we look at preventive measures, yes, there are many things happening in Sierra Leone that can encourage terrorism. Every responsible government in first duty now for ensure say and take care of the welfare of the people. When the people are satisfied, no terrorist law they can. They know we are the sleeper left me do not open. No terrorist law they can because the people are basically satisfied. But when you create economic disparities, you create political turbulence, you create all kind of things in society, wherein then they begin to tell people and say, the one they when I sell people in the normal na Sierra Leone, and that is what is creating terrorist atmosphere. And then kind of thing they create terrorist atmosphere. Because every man when a Sierra Leonean born in Sierra Leone, according to the Citizenship Act, gets rights in Sierra Leone. If you say, because the man not join a political party, not to Sierra Leonean, he get it right. He go out for a Satan. Then you go call on terrorists. The second side is, if we now in a power, they encourage people and for come do drug business in the country, then several cartels can they begin fight themselves. Now not bring terrorism there. So are we serious about preventing terrorism, or are we conscious that we are creating the atmosphere for terrorism? So let us come with a law that will cure it. One thing I want to say before I go hand over to Mr. Shyllon, laws like wars don't solve problems, especially in situations where there is economic and political disparities. Laws like wars don't solve problems. Problems are solved by rational compromise and respect for the rights of others. When they say they go negotiate peace, now that's when they go do. When law break down in a country, now that's not the reason why they cause them. There are several things that can cause terrorism in society. I think, as you rightly say, Mr. Shyllon, it's best we concentrate on those provisions for now than for make anti-terrorist law. Well, maybe then get reason for make anti-terrorist law. Law not be speculators now. Now they know almost cartel the inside the country. So something like that, then they make the law for. Or otherwise, maybe they want to create a de facto one-party state by discouraging the opposition party, calling them terrorists, because that has been publicly done before. But if I reach there, hand over to Isha, I think we get a caller.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamboria. Yeah, I will take this call soon. Let me just run something. Mr. Jamboria mentioned something about the international money regulation will involve the transferring of money from country to country. And a lot of time, they not only want for, like Mr. Jamboria know, and they will ask you, say, watching at the purpose.
Yes.
The country of origin will ask for the purpose, and then they will ask you straight at the source of this money. You don't go to any institution here, say I want to send $10,000, even $5,000, they don't want for no, which say pull them. You get for tell them saying, "Nami trust account, nami checking account, nami savings account, nami salary," but then you get for give them the name of the source to their satisfaction. If they're not satisfied, they're not going to send them. You know, and they are also, in fact, interested in knowing the relationship. Some of these institutions want to know the relationship between you and the recipient. So there are serious guidelines, you know, with respect to sending money. So if we try to make laws now, we on part of the wall. If the purpose for the law is not dubious, if it is well-intentioned and is being done in good faith, or for make corresponding laws them, we go fit the laws them abroad, so it go work with we on. You see, otherwise it will never work. It will never work, because people need to realize for say the laws are, again, like I mentioned earlier, we'll get for make laws them way for be with good intentions, for the progress of the country, for safeguard the rights of others, not to for protect, not to for oppress one group or give one group undue advantage over others. But we know, say, a lot of laws they will pass. Now, a lot of countries, some advanced countries included, and then self can pay the price too from time to time, is if we not try for make laws with good intention. So I think there will come a time, for example, one issue we'll go for decide, we'll go and talk about, like I say in my opening or in my introduction earlier, now the cyber law. Because now we see who's in the tangle, or we young people, and they use the cyber law in relation to arguing against the extradition of a accused international drug trafficker vis-a-vis a demand that had been made earlier to, I think, wherever Mr. Adebayo, I don't know which particular country, that they have been asking for him to be repatriated to Sierra Leone to face justice. Well, we get for try for, I mean, are we really serious about that? Drug trafficking vis-a-vis someone in another country making, sometimes indecent, impolite, profane statements them, but does that rise to the level that you can equate to drug trafficking? But we'll get to that. So we really get to be serious. And another thing, we focus all this time, a lot of times, is on the executive, meaning the president's union section. But I will not forget, say, the president take the power as the giantor. So now as we therefore focus on parliamentarians them. Because parliamentarians them, either a lot of them don't know the purpose of the law, or just even if they're not careful, they don't know, they're not careful, whose effects it will get on the people them. So then just the vote. And these are the type of politicians them or parliamentarians them on both sides, not to just one party. Some of them will vote for anything as long as the appropriate groundwork is laid for them for vote, then go vote. Okay, now we'll talk about some of the problem Mr. Jamboria point out about, and Mr. Mengot also talk about that, about seizure of property, surveillance of people and activities, freedom of speech. So one will get done our constitution, they're not there for nothing. But the standard of seizure or for seizure of property will hardly ever be laid effectively until you get a test case or two when somebody's property is being seized. You begin to question the process, the procedure, and how it violates the existing laws. And the same goes for search, and that search goes from when you get probable, well, it depends on the circumstances of the search to start with. Because if somebody did drive a car or a vehicle, and then you want searching vehicle, we Naya, what I think a good standard for establishing in Sierra Leone, was in Naya in America, you have to have probable cause to even stop that person in vehicle. We don't say, look, Mr. Jamboria in vehicle, the pass, let us stop him. And if we search him, something will go find something they will go charge him with a crime for. You have to have probable cause. Probable cause meaning you have to have legal basis to think, you forget the right for stop him. If he drive within the speed limit, has committed no traffic offense, probable cause does not exist. Then when you stop him, then you want such a vehicle, that's another hurdle you have to get over. The standard is different. The standard is not probable cause. The standard is reasonable and articulable suspicion that this person gets a contraband of a contraband in motorcar. Now it could be if you've received a tip that this person gets cocaine, marijuana, illegal diamond or illicit diamonds, whatever, is in violation of the law. Then you will get a basis for search in car. And what then say reasonable, we just lie because you will get to do an affidavit and all that things. Otherwise, that search they will be improper. But the person, the institution that caused all them shots here, what parliament does pass then lawyer. Now the courts. And the laws and the cases don't get to the court unless the lawyers then take their cases then they. You see? So really, now wait a moment, but by now, for the trained certain group of lawyers, we for the cover some of them basic things there for help build we legal system. Because that's how you build a legal system. Talented lawyers on the one hand, talented prosecutors, smart judges, good legislators them, or by trial and error, somehow everything will come into play. But if we just get it in such a way, everything is rubber stamped. A politician thought about something to pass a law because they want to please the president, or they want to oppress an opposition. Sometimes somebody in a constituency will go run against and we're very influential. He say, okay, this I go scrap them before the election come. So if we pass law and then spirit then it go always, go serve the purpose and it go always backfire and it go all way, it go create nothing but stagnation, meaning we go there one place, So there are so many things about then laws that over the past. They need the involvement of experts like Mr. Jamboria or like Mr. Mengot. Count me out, me an observer on the sideline. But
Do not agree.
so, but these guys, all them committees here, where they set up committee for this, committee for that. If you not get people and we get expertise in that area, you're wasting your time. It will serve no useful purpose. It's an exercise in futility. So we therefore be serious about running the country. This governance is a heavy lifting, like I could always say. So, but let me again, I can try not to be long-winded. Let me take a call, and then I will pass it over to Mr. Jamboria. Hello, caller. What you know your name? Where you call from? Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello, yeah, Mr. Shyllon, Mr. Jallo,
Yes, sir.
Jamboria, and Mr. Mengot. Good afternoon or good evening, wherever we are. Hello.
Good evening. Yeah, good
Yeah,
evening.
good evening. How are you, sir?
This Nabil is called from Maryland.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want to much on this talk. I think when I don't hammer out when I don't do justice to the topic, I think what we lack in Sierra Leone, I think not to nice start for the past how many decades, that when you draft a bill, the intention, the way you rightly mentioned, Mr. Shyllon, then the desired outcome, and not for fail for take the cultural tradition, norms, and values of the target beneficiaries of that laws. So the intention, the desired outcome, and the cultural values, traditions, norms, we always take that into consideration. I think what we lack in Sierra Leone, and also now we start. Now we not get a draft. We not get draft mending. At least any department could just draft a bill, then just send it to the law officers department. Then the law officers department then always feel to say then are experts in all areas. But I feel so waiting they obtain other parts of the world, like when Mr. Mengot, we don't mention them, that in the UK they own draftsmen they can always consult them when they draft bill about transportation and road safety. So if we get that, and I don't know why the politicians then they fail for take that into cognizance when they draft bill. For them, I always forget experts in the area. Drafting a bill is just like writing a curriculum for an academic institution. You know, go write a curriculum for math na senior school. You go take somebody where na geography na study, or you want to write a curriculum for science, biology. You go take somebody when English is study or French is study. No, you forget the experts. I think Sierra Leone get abundance of expertise them at the world. If even on one do where go able to cut down on expenses, there are people who can volunteer. You don't want to make them people even if they're using them inside this one at cyber. When I consult Sierra Leone and say whether they in within and without who are experts in that cyber business day. When I consult them and when I see how I'm able to tell us because they are the experts. They should be guiding the legal persons and the judicial for let them draft the bill. But then they consult them people and they go always they say, okay, we don't send them to the civil society and this. But even the civil society, they are also not experts in that area. Whatever bill, there are always ambiguities in the bill. And Mr. Sepsopotuna, there are ambiguities in this bill. And if we allow the bill pass as it is, down the road, we're not going to target other people where it's innocent. Just the phone that they mentioned, say for send money, you go target somebody money where you don't send legally for engineering business. Then you go target her. Or you wanna go make a blanket now, say political, social, and economic. Somebody talk something. You try for short months. So, and at the same problem now we encounter with them passing 1965 Public Order Act. Because the intention was bad. Now for cross-dissenting voices, now make Albert Magani pass on. So, I think to say, with what one they do so, for let the government and the public know, say yes, there are lacunas in the bill. It is full of ambiguities. Let them make them explicit. If so, they can call experts who are grounded in that field for go assist them. I think the Sierra Leoneans where they within and without can able to do it for free or able to say, okay, well, this is my own contribution to nation building. I just pay for that call and make this contribution as subsidy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abdul, as always. Thank you. Let me see if I can take another call before I switch to my co-host them. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from? And thank you for calling.
Yes. Good evening again, gentlemen, young men.
Thank you, sir.
Old man, welcome.
Thank you very much.
No, I love to be called young man because it's a
Old man,
compliment.
welcome.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Don't call me old, call me young. I love it.
Okay, gentlemen. So, you see, we Sierra Leone, when it comes to politics, we are very highly competitive. That in 98, you say, oh, we get the Democrat, the America, we get the Republican, then we get the Labour, Nyanda, we get the Conservatives, they're power. But you know, when they say come do what them people don't do over the years, you make a no show. Nothing, they come from you. So you see, so any law we didn't come with that country, we a new one. It only get one purpose now, a political purpose. Nothing else. Because there are a lot of problems which Salone gets. Instead of making law say, we that administration not able to provide water, therefore sue them a court, or improve electricity or roads them. Therefore, look what these presidents they do the administration. They will begin one road from to Kamalu or waiting that part of the north. When it come to power, because it thinks those people all them the APC the big one and come out, they stop the program. They don't waste the money when they don't spend. So therefore make a law, any president will do that kind of thing and they put in a jail because of that. They're not focused on welfare or availability of services. Sarah will get already this problem. Now that we priority.
No.
We have other priorities of people are hungry. They cannot have jobs. The minimum wage is abysmal. The water not there to start with. Everybody get typhoid, malaria. Because we're not able. You cannot make those laws which make sure say gradually people in their lives will become better. When they go take terrorism, now America will get problem with terrorism or Britain. We have a problem of food and hunger, diseases. They know we left all those things. We can't sit down. We come. They talk about terrorists, anti-terrorists. They put all of those things for making more than do one thing. Like when they go to cyber, because they don't see the social media believe and rise. They go the law. Now they begin to charge people and say cyberbullying. And at the same thing they do this year, would I make argument now? Say you go make a protest, they hold you. And I remember lastly because before I go, I think Mr. Mengot or I talk to this the power belongs to the people. I always remind when I say the law now so the people rights. but it know they happen. Even for protest, it didn't have the constitution. 1965 Public Order Act. 1930 didn't use them. And today now one only did the whole show. Where then go because normally when somebody they get case, never go complain. He go to court say somebody do me this. When they go to court, now the lawyer talk say lawyer should talk say Abura can complain now. The judge don't they talk say it don't matter because the evidence is clear. That's what the judge talk. And when they say they left the lady, now they talk say the crime is too serious. Now Kadiru now they go waka so. He don't talk all he talk the way he talk. They not get do nothing. So that power day is done with one man in state house because only one they for do the job for the law, the police, the parliamentarian, then they under that man which is under that state house. So do ya anytime when I talk about this, and the man my back talk say under this law who we get, as long as that man is not part of that law, all of what they put in that constitution no they work. That I will left today. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Fode, thanks a lot. Let me take one more call and then I go try for go to my co-host. Hello, caller. Tell me who you are and tell me what's in there on your mind. Hello, caller. Hello? Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello, Mr. Shyllon, Mr. Jamboria, Mr. Mengot. Thank you for the good job. This now Alpha City, the call from Alaska.
Okay, Mr. Sise, thanks for calling.
Yes. My contribution today, just like with the previous caller, just don't talk. I watched the 2018 debate, and that debate day up to now are still the whole accountable to everything we everybody saying at that debate. We watched them all for that debate. Nobody know one they mention for that debate say we get terrorism problem in Salone with and can't stop them. We know one day you read that. And what will be the report about the hardship in the country, how prices then they up, so we then can fix the problem. We also hear most of them they talk say the previous government I think they travel too much, then get reckless spending. So we then can't cut all of this. But I got two questions and three questions. One for Mr. Shyllon, one for Mr. Jamboria, and one for Mr. Mengot.
You're a very fair man.
Eh?
I say you're very fair. You give one each.
One each, exactly. I got one for Mr. Jamboria. First, Mr. Jamboria.
Yeah.
Trump don't declare terrorist drug cartels as a terrorist organization. So my question to you now on Salone, what do you take on the law enforcement or people that will try for pass the terrorism act? Say if you see somebody in a mosque, when El Capo or somebody where they do with drugs, if you na law enforcement na for arrest that individual or report to the appropriate authority where go arrest that person there, whether na church now una see or not. Then I want. Mr. Shyllon, you don't comment the current government for the repeal of the criminal libel law and the death penalty. Based on the things that the way they go on at Salone, the assassinations, alleged assassinations, or the illegal arrest of people then because they say something about the government and stuff like that. Waiting now you take now, and because you can't just repeal law, but waiting you do worse past the law itself. And Mr. Mengot, last question. Is there any law by driving where say the president or the presidential convoy have the right for hit and run or bang somebody and kill him and then drive by and pass without rendering aid to that person where they bang or kill? That's my question. I want to thank you.
All right. Mr. Sise, thanks very much. We appreciate the call. Now, very quickly, so we're not going to run out of time. There is a saying sometimes, you see, like me, so I emphasize adherence to the law or to the rule of law, because when we all respect the law, let us not forget that the Constitution is just a piece of paper. Now, we commitment to that piece of paper there. For say, what you say, we all could try for a bite to them, then to make it work. And we also get for face some reality in life. What we talk democracy. You compare democracy to that of building a house. When you build a house, it takes far much longer than it takes to burn the house down.
Yeah.
So that means with all the best of intentions, with all the hard work, and we see in America now, right now. So we're not going to look far. And I make people like we believe, say, even Australians, if you want to pass laws, you get for think about America, what's going to go on here and all them president for make we own law better and safer. There is nothing that says Australia cannot make better laws or safer laws than America. Because we see a classic example in America now, where after 250 some years of the existence of the current structure of a democracy, we get one man, where he just decides, say, one turn upside down, and he's really fighting hard to do so. And the other thing we get to learn is that no matter how cruel somebody is, and no matter how destructive that person there is, there are always sycophants who will go along with him, who will support him, who will help him to achieve that goal there. We'll get forgetting change in mind, we will pass laws them back home. Oh, me and this guy will go to the same school. Now be my classmate. Now the same tongue we come out. Now my cousin. He becomes a different person when you get that power there. Now I make American man and get to saying and say, everybody loves the Constitution until you are in power. So you like the Constitution. Oh, Constitution, everything Constitutional right, freedom of speech. But once you're there on the other side now, that you get the power. Constitution, you say, damn it. If you oppose me, I will squeeze you. If you do this, I will squeeze you. So the Constitution, we all love them. But the real test now, when we get the power, I don't remind people over and over. Constitution are restraints on government, not on the citizens.
Yeah.
Now, perimeters them beyond which government should not go. And when the government goes beyond them areas and them boundaries there are mechanisms by which you can go in a court for challenge that. That's why it's in all best interest for strengthening the judiciary, not weaken it. Because when we weaken it, then we don't undermine, we don't cut the legs of the very foundation where we want to stand on. So I'm just I'm trying to let people in there. So we'll get a call, we'll get somebody who just send in a comment, say, we get laws then at the country, but enforcement is the problem. Of course, that's where the problem is. So I don't get, I would say, an overabundance of laws. Enforcement, not the problem. Let me read a comment there. Nothing our politicians are doing is in the interest of them, and the nation at large. It's all about what benefits them short term. Okay, so the essence of that comment is nothing they are doing is in the interest of the people. It's all about their own self-interest. Then another person says, when will the political killing stop in Sierra Leone despite the abolition of the death penalty? Okay, this relates to the gentleman who just called just Mr. Sise from Alaska. I was one, I still am, I think, say one of the most progressive legislation under the BO government was the abolition of the death penalty. I think it's a progressive move, particularly with all the risk attributable to the trial process, that somebody may not get a real trial, and we'll talk about the loss of life. So I think that was progressive. Now, I think the question being raised is, what about all the extra, because we call it extrajudicial killings, where people just disappear? Well, of course, nobody will condone that if that's the truth. I mean, it's terrible. No country should be run that way, you know? So, but it's in everybody's interest. And let people realize, say, you will believe in that, could very well, or one of you, loved one might fall victim of a system like that. So we have to be very careful. So I don't know how to brand it, whether it's political killings, I would just call it extrajudicial killings. Anybody who thinks they get a right for take somebody in life without accountability, and well, that now extrajudicial killings. But again, I don't want to take too much time. Okay, I get other my co-hosts them for talk. So make I go to Mr. Mengot, or the gentleman say you get three. So I hope I don't answer me on part of the three questions the way posed to we, one for each. So Mr. Mengot, to you, sir, and then to Mr. Jamboria.
Well. If I remember the caller in question where he asked me, he said whether there's any right for a presidential convoy involved in an accident, they not take any action. Well, they say, me what I believe say we get the man with in charge, president with all respect, we get all entitled them. Supreme Head of State, Fountain of Honor, Commander-in-Chief, Father of the Nation, and we all respect that. But we elect for do evidence-based. One of the first presidential executive order we hear boku na Trump, but in Sierra Leone, we president have get a right there for presidential executive order. When the president can have power, one of the first presidential executive order now for say no senior public servant or minister go broke traffic law. And breaking traffic law, if there's an accident, according to the law, I can quote them, may always get failure to report an accident. And it's under the Road Traffic Act 2007. You get power of police to obtain information, that's section 88. Power to arrest for dangerous or careless driving, and also for a driver to stop, report an accident, and give information on the documents. Now we law. Not to me right hand, 19 of the law. So no man is above the law. So if the president not to in the driving company, and I don't quote the relevance of the law, but since in the man way uphold the Constitution, because when you appoint him as president, he take an oath of office. If any such thing occur, and no evidence say occur, na question and the answer. It is incumbent upon him to direct whoever is responsible to adhere to the law. The man in question. The executive order and the law where everybody in the country for adhere to, regardless of who you work for or who that you be. And this business of Boku convoy, na Salone, is causing a problem. All man get convoy. Law left and so. But anybody will flout a traffic law, according to which it is the responsibility of that person to adhere to failure to give purchase when that occur. I don't call it crime, it's a violation of the traffic laws. It's a violation. So there are several issues where if that happen, the laws them according to the 2007 Traffic Act and 2011 road traffic regulation, which were violated if that was the case. Over to you, Mr. Jamboria, for answer your own question.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You see, when you get questions on Sierra Leone, difficult for answer because waiting day and the law not with the see they happen. But right enough, the answer to that question is that no law no day will allow such a situation for happen. But people, then they not Sierra Leone where they're above the law, then they do how they like. I'll just put them in that simple way. If we care to, we for begin consider for change Sierra Leone name from Republic of Sierra Leone to Republic of Guantanamo. Because in Guantanamo, it's the law enforcer who has the right, not the man who is in the prison. So I will just put the answer this show. But the answer to that question we will see when we continue for discuss this counter-terrorism bill, and especially when it link up with this cyber security. Something that the answer is obvious. You dey see them as soon as they get the knowledge, as soon as they get the enlightenment, because one single statement not go able to answer some of them questions here. Now, practical look at what is stated and how we expect them to be applied, now I go answer to them questions here. So I go left and day for today. And as we get for continue with this Counter-Terrorist Act and look at the Cyber Act, we go see clearly the answer to the question where the man from Canada sent to me. I like for always prove something, because as we sit here, the other man opinion, just like how Mr. Mengot don't create the clear picture, say, idena with law, and while let we wait all the in the discussion, I go come back to that question and say, for this reason, this reason, this reason, this is not part of the answer to that question. It's a broad question. If you answer with one statement, you get some people who go say what you they say correct. You go get some people who go say, that man in opinion because he they against the government. And we are here not to go against government or to go in favor of government. We're here to enlighten people. So let we definitely, but I know say there is no provision for that to be correct. For now, that's as much as I can say. Over to you, sir, Mr. Mengot. I think it's time we go to the next tranche of the program.
Which is the rearranging the urban landscape and transportation.
Well, fumble them, we don't come to the second part of we program. I think so we'll go deal with them in the next half an hour. You know? And what we call now a continuation. This exercise what they do now for people and for interact with we, a lot tell them what they do. And this is not your area. Now transport, are they breathe transport, are they sleep transport? Right? Now we've been on to this February month. 3 things happen. The one get time we will go on the first one will happen. Now on the 2nd of February, we make Waka Fine 1 year. And Waka Fine, let me bring and come for improved transport system at Salone. But this same February, we not starting at the previous program where the Inspector General of Police be identified 35 locations then where they say they're at the Central Business District where they ban Okada. Okada for them people that we don't know we go there abroad. Now, them motorbike them where they take people that we call commercial bike riders. They ban them as the place where we call the CBD. What's in the CBD? Where in Udano Freetown, it starts from St. John, Tego, up Gunton Table. So you get major roads them where they ban them. When I like Pademba Road, Circular Road, Regent Road, Shaka Stevens Street. Then you get other road that will link to them places then they. But then after that, it don't happen. Again, the secretary to the president call a press, he call people them for come. He call the transport, the public Salone police, he call Shyllon Road Safety Authority, he call Freetown City Council. He say, let them start an operation. He call and say them for decluster Freetown. What do they mean by decluster? England here we know. Because then country here, you know, say you get, let's just give an example. You get clothes the way they wear, like when you tutu the blow. You get clothes the way they wear, where they wear that fine. So you cannot pack too much clothes then. So we are where they decluster. You throw away free space. So the decluster what they mean na salon. Now one, we get boko broko motoka them. Where they left na streets. All over Freetown. Where they say na for clear them broko motoka them dey. The next thing, now then garage them, where people they don't take the streets for make garage. But I don't know why they stop no more na garage. But then get for talk about even there, one them also, where they put building materials then at the road, put sand, put granites at the road and block the road. So what's in the solution? Again, Salone will like form committee. They don't form committee. We don't get agency them. We get SLRSA and I go city to truck them. We get police. We get city council for remove them vehicle and they. But not the first time this it happened. Under the previous government, we been get Operation Weed. We then say the same thing. For clear the streets and everything. A good thing. But the key question is, how do we manage the urban space? How do we make it livable? One of the things where we get the challenges, I'll bring the challenges and then my colleagues and I'll talk. Now the institution, because in most cities them, now Africa, now Europe, now America, the municipality, and then they manage urban space. And then they do it through ordinances. From time immemorial, waiting the ordinances then they now law them when they make. And how they manage urban space, you get to look at parking control. Who say you allow for park? With this new one, I go tell people and say, you know for park your car for 1 hour, they can care and go. If you aren't get them law then they, you get forget what you call control parking zone. Then get an all then control parking. You get sideway or long-term parking. Long-term, what they talk about, so for 3 hours. And the law also gives city council the responsibility for designate off-street parking. Like, you know what you get in their country and other African country. They're multi-story car parks. When are there people that will park? But if you want to put that law again, you get to make sure, say, you get the language of the road. You get to put road signs. You get to put road marking. We were then at the no say when they say red line, red route. 24 hours, you know they park there. When they put double yellow line, you know for park there. You where they drive, you know. When they put single yellow line, you get limit where they park. Then things to do like loading and offloading. And Mr. Aki always quote law. Under the 2011, he said, no person shall load or offload or prevent the loading of any passenger or goods from any vehicle except at location designated by the authority. They said the authority. So almost authority we get. We get police, we get SLRSA, we get City Council. All three of their agencies then they get responsibility for load control. In most places where they do, you can buy urban planning. Now make sure they talk about managing our urban space. We can forget structural plan. Like where they build you house. Part of the plan are for sure say if you want car park, people say go there. If you then a street, then go for manager, we get residential parking. We're not so free. If not businesses, some place in there where they give permits for they build big business where that parking they not provided in the plan. What they can do, they can get a situation where the city council, what we call committed parking. You the person where they build their official building and they, you go pay the council for let them provide indoor parking like Freetown. I can show areas them. City council get car park in the building, but it's not enough. But you get other places then where I can identify two major sites them. One, Usai City Hotel Binde. You can build multi-story car park. You don't get for big government. Two, Usai the old Yen building Binde na Shaka Stevens Street. You can also build multi-story car park. So when you make rules them, one, you get to make sure say you provide facilities. Two, you get to make sure say people adhere to the instructions. And three, you get to look at everything. Street trading, it's our law. Prohibition of street trading. Now under Section 131 of the Road Traffic Act. We'll look at where they designed the road there recently under this new project. You put barrier on Sani Abacha Street for let people not sell on street. The pavement where people for worker, now they trader then they. All over trader, if you the cluster. So who that gets that responsibility there? City council get responsibility, police get responsibility because if not obstruction, police get responsibility under the act, right? Leaving a vehicle on the road where they cause danger to other person. Now Section 120 of the Road Traffic Act. So if we talk about the cluster, not for just lift motorcar, even when they talk about them garages them, City council they give permits for business premises. But at the same time, SLRS saying that they register garages there. So you see there's such a mismatch, and we got to look at different situations. So let's sit down now. Me, when I explain, let's left and to my two colleagues there now. If they want to talk more about this issue or ask me question, because all the things I don't mention, I mentioned the relevant laws them and the institution that we involved. Over to you, Mr. Jamboria. Now you're the first man. Because Mr. Shyllon say, mix power, but don't forget say, in Komo Abadin, we get pan. Then they will know it's in a tomorrow pan. Then Mr. Shyllon pan. So now make sure the left and force I can't tell you, boy.
You see, I spent close to 2 years doing a research on land use in the Western area between 1978 and 79. I know all the land use demarcations in that Western area. Whose side they make for industrial use, whose side they make for commercial use, residential, car parks. Freetown has a plan. That's the first thing I go say before I come to this topic. Freetown has a plan. That plan had been made maybe some years immediately after independence. Some of it was made before independence, like for example, the conservated forest zone, where they above 2,500 feet above sea level. Outside, they know they allow people them for belows, where they don't build all the houses now, where they cause all the environmental disasters in Freetown. That's why we them go build our central mosque, na Ecowa Street. That land was designated for a multi-tier or multi-story car park by Falcon Bridge. But okay, they don't build this, they don't build that, they don't distort the city. How do we replan Freetown? Who does the replanning? You see, just now we've been discussed about this terrorist act. I did say this too much committees and existing institution, there will be a loss in the chain of command. I want to make it clear here that Freetown is as it is today because after the war, then create unnecessary laws and institutions would duplicate the functions of control of the city of Freetown. All the distortion will take place after 2001, and we still continue for the distortion. That law about parking and this, that law is for the ordinance of the Freetown City Council. All you need for do strengthen the Freetown City Council, they able doing duty. Strengthen the Freetown City Council, they able effectively do cartographic survey of the city of Freetown, whatever the limits is, because Freetown they grow, and at different points in time, the city limits they grow. Up to 1972-73, Freetown been stopped now up gone on the eastern side. On the western side, it been stopped by Congo Cross. But now it's no longer the limits, they don't grow. Cities do grow, and therefore you they grow with them. So
Okay, without interrupting you, sir, let's just show waiting at the present boundary for Freetown.
okay,
Okay, Western urban, Western rural.
okay,
So if you take them on the western side of Freetown, the boundary in a Levuma, you know, side Levuma there. So
yes,
after
Yes.
Goddard,
Between Longley
yes,
and
and then at the boundary, right? If you take the eastern part, the boundary in a Ogu Bridge, so you can
Okay.
see the wide expansion.
Well,
We
that
don't take
means
place.
it don't go further, because by the time they left Sierra Leone in 1998, the eastern boundary of Freetown was at Mambore, Calabar Town.
Yes,
And the
Mambore, yeah.
western
Mambore
boundary,
Junction.
yes, the western boundary been there by the Lumley.
Lumley, yeah, by St. Mark's Church.
Yes. Beyond the now western urban. Beyond Mambore, Calbatong, now be eastern urban up to then the Bulolte
Eastern
go.
rural,
Rural, I
you mean,
mean,
sir.
rural, I mean, go to them Waterloo, etc., up to Sungo. You see, we not make any sense for the create institutions where they duplicate the functions of existing institutions. You they create redundancy and loss of command. And we are always doing it. Look at this cyber law. Don't discuss this now. The Freetown City Council has been made into a lapdog when I will do nothing much. All them things here, they within the remit of the Freetown City Council for control and make efficient. And I believe say if this Freetown City Council get the empowerment for doing without political interference, because that's the biggest crisis we have in Sierra Leone. The political interference so much that we not allow the institutions to function. And not to today start, not to with this government is start. We get for take Sierra Leone serious if we want Sierra Leone to operate. At one point in time, I even come public and make a recommendation. All this problem go solve if we begin look at decentralizing commerce and such functions. Why is it that up to this time, in 2025, everybody get for go PZ for go buy something? When you can have decentralized trading, Calbaton get your own market center. Godrich get your own center. Usai Sef get your own Fullerton get your own center, etc. Anybody who want buy, he get outside, they go, he buy all what you want buy, he doing business. Why does somebody have to drive from Waterloo, take Freetown Center for come buy your bus? You see, these are some of the things where we get for take a look at. The other side we'll get for take a look at on this congestion, broke down motorcar, garages, etc. Why is it that we have so many broken vehicles in Sierra Leone when we don't have a car manufacturing factory in Sierra Leone? Doesn't that tell you that the vehicles going to Sierra Leone are mostly not roadworthy? How do they pass through the key? How efficient is the roadworthy test road they get in Sierra Leone? Because if motorcar then they broke down boku, pass them get for two them, that means they're not roadworthy. If they got the motorcar then roadworthy, they're not they broke down. You the England, Mr. Mengot, motorcar then not they broke down so no more. Mr. Shyllon, America, motorcar then not they broke down so no more. Then occupy space. We don't make we country into a dumping ground. Everybody is sending container to Sierra Leone of dump goods, old computers, old motorcar, old fridge, old that. And that's what is part of the reason for the problem. Some problems then they not outside like when they say where you for them, not look outside for them, look outside buck your foot. The thing really when are the problem, we know they address them. When they go say motorcar no for their garage, no for yes, you know for they not true. But outside the problem come out, now they dump vehicle them or low quality vehicles, so now they allow for pass car inside the country. Now they create that condition there. So if you want to stop it, go down there and begin to correct it. Set a maxim, say, any vehicle way down there of this age enough for come Sierra Leone. No way, why see them so? Any vehicle we don't pass 10 years or we don't run above 300,000 miles an hour. 300,000 miles I mean. And now they allow them for make you export them from Norway. It's a rule in this country.
Just for intervene, sir, we get them because the law say, because it's on record, say any vehicle which is more than 10 years old, you know, for bringing a car to the country. But when you say more than 10 years old, it depends on 10 years old from whose period did they start. Because if you want to say 10 years old, if you want to say more than 10 years old now, we did 2025, it means say any vehicle where they manufacture, right, before 2015.
Yes.
Not for car salon. And
Yes.
salon, vehicle and they were in a 2010, when they look at as brand new. Where if we follow the law, those vehicles should not be allowed into the country. So now that's the situation, sir.
Brand new is not by the paint. Brand new, other things that you know, good transport man, you know how they talk. The engine bore and other things of the engine, and they look them. If I want to send a vehicle that was made in 2010 from Norway, if I can afford for buy a brand new engine, I put her inside there. As long as the body good, the engine good, the chassis good, then I get a good tire, then they go through roadworthy test, then prove say the engine is good, then it's good to go. But you're not going to go take vehicle where the engine, it don't done almost, the body not good, and maybe sometimes not even climatically convenient for Sierra Leone. Because vehicles from here, then public transport, the glass seal, you know, they open. I'm sure when I don't see beaucoup them vehicle they run a Freetown streets where the glass all seal.
Well,
You see,
another
there are a
practice,
lot of loopholes.
we dey talk now for buttress that point there. Majority of a good percentage of Upuda and a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, when I van them, when they put seat inside for turn into passenger transport, which is
And
against the
that
law.
one now for load.
Now for load, yes, not for
Not
person.
for load. Not for person. You see, this is where the problem is. We not allow institutions to operate. And even where the institution should operate, because Jack or Momo where they is there for a political reason, it break the law. We cannot eat our cakes and expect to have it in our hands. Now that's what they do in a salon. Over to Isha, Mr. Shyllon, because we go talk to the kingdom come, then go they do them. Over to Isha.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Well,
In
Mr.
fact,
Shyllon, you be suggest to in the talk, but this idea of abandoned vehicle, just give you experience and waiting at the solution in terms of removal of abandoned vehicle and how to manage that process there, from a legal point of view and your experience in your own area.
well, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Make us start off with the limitation of the importation of vehicles from abroad. The good thing about the discussions there is a classic example how reasonable people can differ. But when we all come up with ideas, at the end of the day, when the dust settles down, now the country will benefit because you get reasonable people who discuss substantive ideas. Now, I plead to the callers, then let them hold, we will take them calls. For example, I listened to Mr. Jamboria to talk about cars that are so many years old. And Mr. Mengot, with respect to cars that are so many, have so much mileage. These are all major considerations. Then I also think in terms of climatic fitness or roadworthiness of the vehicle. All these are major issues then for be taken into account. I will agree for the shipment of vehicles. But the point is, some of the factors here we get for taken into account, because what do we do with situation where a car is 20 years old, it still runs on the street of Norway, I hope, still runs on the street of the United States and in Surrey, and it passes inspection every year. My argument would be, if it is good for Norway, if it is good for America, it should be good for Sierra Leone if it passes inspection. So one thing might be, since with the strict inspection or the regulation that we don't get now, if you can show proof that the vehicle passed inspection abroad, that should be one criterion. That's one.
Yeah.
The other argument to that is we get a situation where the age of the car may not necessarily be determinative of the roadworthiness of the car. Because like in America, you get people who get multiple vehicles for different purposes. Some people and they then get vehicle just for make trips on vacation. And that vehicle could be an old vehicle, but extraordinarily roadworthy than say a vehicle that is half its age, but you use them for go walk all every day. So the old vehicle that is 20 years old may have half the mileage where the newer vehicle gets because of the frequent use of it. So I'm just bringing up then here. So, but when you discuss them here, then we can know how to draw your limitation. Because I'm a great believer in, you look at the various systems that we exist, you look at your system, you look at your problem, you tailor make them so it will fit with. This is how you come up with regulations and laws and everything. Also, they will not forget, say, I have consistently argued that one of the worst disservice to Sierra Leone is the existence and the passing of the Local Government Act. And I'm still posing this, not a challenge, because I just want to get more knowledge. Let somebody call we or come that will show and tell we what good since then passed the Local Government Act, what progressive or what progress have we seen as a result of that act? What good has it done for us? Let us see whether there was a real need for it, because I will argue that the Local Government Act does so trample on previously existing efficient laws.
Yeah.
That it does disable then local ordinances that they talk with, like the city council and the district council that we get. They don't override because they put the power in the hands of one minister who is totally uninformed about traffic, about city planning, he has no expertise in anything. He's just get a ministerial position. And they say if for ideas alone for supersede that of a city council, a council of elected members, should supersede a council of district council people. So these are some of the things we would talk about legislation. We know they think right for come up with progressive ideas. You see, so the Local Government Act, for whatever the reasons may have been, we didn't pass them. It has just been an impediment to progress, in Sierra Leone. Because we then get for rethink them, but I strongly encourage, like the city council, challenge the existence of the law, challenge the constitutionality of that law. Challenge, there are legal grounds upon which it can be tested in court. So, like we say, not the government get for do everything. So, I strongly encourage the city council or some activist lawyers or the so-called what do they call them? The civil rights people. Some of them, that particular Local Government Act, I think should be challenged because it will do that country a great good of deal if they eliminate that law there, because it's an obstructionist law. It's not a law that does anything for the good of that country there. All right. Now, Mr. Mengot asked me about this for many years, and then this go all the way back to the Shaka Stephen era. Because there was a time even in the 80s when you went to Freetown, when you go visit. You see, I don't know if people remember the era of the high pile of trash, where the city council will not be the empty trash. And when you ask why, they say, well, because the party in power, they get along with the mayor. There was this infighting. I get pictures of, in fact, there was a place out in the eastern where the trash so high that plantain begin for grow there. And then people begin prep matcha at the side of them for put them the market within the sale. So this abandonment of the responsibility of beautifying the city, wherefore we shining light, has gone way back since independence, since immediately after independence. So successive government after government after government have not found it feasible. Then I have been UU building when I was main ministerial building. Whatever they call that street there, we'll run from Old Railway Line to Usai Convent, then they back of FSSG. You will see carcasses of broken vehicles that have been there for right by UU building on the streets, on the side of it for years. They're just there.
Well, to say to you that's Hannah Benkakoka Street, and recently they've actually refurbished that street there. Now, one of the successes of waiting the city council do. But before you go far, you know, so get time. Long entertain them caller, then we'll give you for continue for long not keep them too much because want it to be interactive.
I appreciate that, sir. Hello, caller. What you know your name? Who's side you call from?
Hello, wise man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
thank you.
Try for talk about the vehicles and issues.
Okay.
Yeah, for instance, together from the most of the people who same cars from that part of the world, it is still to car than I one by then they're expensive. About to the client who in a salon, they only do with quality. Like who in so. You know, say according to the age of the car, now so in price the kilometer, now so in price the boyanda yun. We say this na sprinter. In price for dinner that because for instance this sprinter that is selling in a Freetown 250 million euros. That na
How much is that? How much is that? How much is that in dollars? How much is that in dollars?
250,000 news now the new news. And then inside Europe, mostly them sprinter they get different prices. They get sprinter them, or then they sell then Eastern European, they get poor quality. And then how they call about then Poland, the other country, they get poor quality, then price they down. But we buy and get and go in there, you know get quality, but in a salon, then they pay you want pay the same price that the car will come out Germany, obviously they go that control. When the scrutiny and they pass control technical everything. We send a salon, the cow cost in Germany, the cow cost in East European,
just 150 million at $10,000.
Same price. You know, they want pay the same price. And for instance, the other that sprinter, the cost in the 5,500 in Western Europe. Then Germany, Belgium, Holland, we say a good color quality or control technique. But they only come up Poland, the other country, and they motorcar they only buy then too poor. But we get a good salute the client, they don't pay the same price. One at the one Poland, it costs you about 3,000, 3,500, 4,000. You will get in you want Poland. Why do you want to they get a 5,500, even 6,000 euros for buying a force? And then if for ship them, it costs you 2,500 euros for ship one sprinter for it on a Freetown. When it's at the port, they pay at the port of 1,000 euros for pull up. They will take all the expenditure, then they get for each get for Lily and nothing. And then the thing don't go up, and they say that they only go meet for go buy. Then they look for quality. And then they definitely, and then we'll get for saying that quality business and that country, they pass some over for the total government, okay, for check on them today. And then before the Moscow, they Ghana, they bought our quality is, and then they will people that will know to the buy, you know. But that problem is there definitely even to the buy themselves. They prefer for buy that poor quality one, okay, less price than the that which have the. Sometimes when they see the good one, they just prefer okay, no matter what, this is not good quality. No, just put they want to put just now so let me say 5 million euros. Why we say the difference is too much? They are na motkado they also go dump on them they don't tie with Naya. But yes, they use now actually. Some when you now Western Europe, they still good for use. Anyway. And then when I talk about that issue, then at that number I say let me say give me a point of view on this.
Thank you very much, sir. Although we want to see how you can link that with the breakdowns, the over the chalk, the salvaging of motorcar and what they left on the streets. But maybe if you get time, you can call me back. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. What are your name?
No problem, sir.
Where you call from? Hello, caller.
Hello, Mr.
caller.
Shyllon, Mr. Mengot again. Now, Alpha Stay again from Alaska.
Okay, Mr. Sisse. Thanks for calling again.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to add my own little contribution where I don't talk already about driving. I think to me, lack of knowledge and abiding by the rules and regulation of driving is more concerning past the motorcar than where they can ship. Me as Salone see a driver can get, let me say, a Toyota Highlander or whatever, and another person get the same type of motorcar where you need parts, but you know able to get the parts. The driver they connive for go pull that parts that motorcar where they drive for go sell and get the other person will not get that and replace them to other parts. So a lot of things that happen at Salone way is so unbelievable. For example, Lord, we take example about what happened with we great legend, may he so rest in peace. And the accident will happen from the beginning to the end. If you now watch the videos, them, we see the Okada, the bike rider itself, we see talk, we see the passenger talk, waiting people the way they break down with that much car, waiting and talk, you know what I'm saying? And then if you piece them things and they together, you go find out, say, now lack of knowledge, most of the time they make them here they happen. And again, driving, even if you get all the knowledge, you follow all the rules and regulations. If the other person not follow the rules and regulations, it still doesn't matter. When all end up become a victim. So if that, let me say, that much car will be packed, then we get the triangle sign, maybe the life will be don't save. Or maybe if the Okada rider itself, follow rules and regulation, meaning, for example, then they ask a question at the test, this question always they can say, how far you they look ahead of you, where they ride or drive motorcar? The answer they can put on 2 feet in front of you, 1 feet, or look as far as your eyes can see, which is the correct answer. So you can see the other guy will be the explain. When I watch the video them, the other passenger will be the explain. They in see the motorcar park from distance. But if they assume say the Okada rider see him. So say nothing. First when they here now they came close. Now I say, hey, motorcar park right in front of you. So if that driver be don't see as far as you can see, content this thing are not for happen. And again, instead talk say, well, motorcar be the come where the light be heavy. Meaning the high beam be there. What is the high beam? A high beam now a light way that the front light, but it put on so that way in case there is fog or the place dark, so you be able to see better. But if you see oncoming vehicle or oncoming object that come towards you 500 feet, you for turn that high beam off. Because if not to that, they blind out the driver. So a lot of things can be happening that day if no more than follow the rules and regulation of driving. And for example, too here, where people then can kind of turn here, like for example, they drive cab like 15 years ago. Then they call me ahead of time, say, hey, well, they can't do tomorrow. I'll go there around 2 o'clock. You they drive, they want to make sure in case you get to do something that they let for do what they do, let take care of them, let fatigue not interfere by the driving. They're not going to just come and say, hey, well, whether that man way they, can give me right, call up. So tell that man, they, go deny it, say, go give right. But so they don't work the whole day. He's tired. He wants sleep. But because of a very important person, go deny, say, go give right. So a lot of things that happen and the way we reconstruct that accident, if it will be prevented, but when God don't mark something, God don't mark something. And another example what they do now. I've been getting land my mama area. So I've been come on Watalo for go to my mama and I take poda. But when we enter up at this poda, the way how the driver be the drive, I notice something's wrong. So I tell her let pull over. I think like 4 or 5 blocks away. I said tell her let pull over and not let the way I drive, So the customer then they tell me, hey, cut off me. They say cut off, we are turn wrong. That means just sit on the driver understand what you do, you understand the road, but now I tell her no, let him put me down, So now he pull over. And I do pay and two lane officer and don't get money up. Come on down, Mr. Shyllon. As I'm watching Koto took off with that vehicle, I hope Koto was all right. So now because I'm in case this today. No, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. It sounds like I suspect the Koto was driving under the influence of something. We'll take one more last call. This will be the last one. We're not going to take any more call after this. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Well,
hello, caller.
I mean that lucky one. Well, short one.
All right,
because
thank you.
I don't say I'm going to call again. When I don't talk all about this free municipality and the roles and functions, but again, I know when I talk about say for try for stifle the functioning of the city council, and like I say just now say we will compete politics so much, but for deliver and other thing and then we don't go make an office of Minister of Western Area because I don't want them instead of them channel resources to the Freetown City Council, we now other people control them. Then count that other one day. So if they get for do anything, now then see now we do them. So unfortunately, they don't get money for give that office day. They don't get money for give to the Freetown City Council. So therefore, the Freetown they continue for go bien, or I mean, I don't know if other people in say they go before, but we say they go bien in terms of functionality and provision of services. Now that I just want to add more, we make a left now because time knowledge. Thank you very much, young men.
Thank you very much. Let me just pass on over. I get a lot of things I would like to say, but no, let me pass on over. I don't think I'm going to say anymore. Mr. Jamboria, you can take over, and then to Mr. Mengot.
Well, I think say now the last word me go say, I tell all the listeners, thank you and listen to we. And one for assurance say we go continue for discuss the issues, especially the terrorism bill and the cyber act. Because the security of the people, the welfare of the people, they're above any law. That is what the Constitution states in Chapter 2. When they begin and say sovereignty belongs to the people, that's all encompass everything. Security, welfare, everything. But if we not they take care of that, then the campus law say, if that mommy na levuma or that pa na Kamalo receive $10,000 na terrorism, then you are going against the Constitution. As you rightly say, Mr. Shyllon, we lawyers then for begin argue the cases based on Constitution. Yes. Then for begin argue the cases based on Constitution. Because some of these things, if you bring the constitutional provision for argument, anybody in the right sense is going to say, yes, there was a mistake somewhere. How you go see somebody in fundamental rights for the convenience of certain people who created that problem? If there is going to be terrorism in Sierra Leone, it's because of reckless governance. I'm not afraid for say that. I live in a country that has almost the same population as Sierra Leone. Norway. Norway not get anti-terrorist law. Then get all the state security. The day terrorism can and they're able to take care of them. The Norwegian police, they are so trained that they are trained just like the army. They not get business for go make anti-terrorist law. They get business for create welfare for the people. As we speak, 2 weeks ago, the Prime Minister came up and said, because of the global economic situation, then they consider for increase the basic minimum wage so that everybody will continue for live conveniently, because whatever money the country gets, it belongs to the people. I would love to hear that from our country. I go end this, sir. Over to you, Mr. Mango.
Well, family, I tell you, thank you. Always, this transport and traffic and road safety, see we touch everybody. And we go continue for monitor this operation decluster, and also look at issues for deal with how we use the road. This now for driver them, now for pedestrian them, and road safety. And one thing I want to tell people them, this week where they cancel, for the first time in Africa, they get the Global Ministerial Conference on Road Safety in Morocco. So I want to report on that, and some of the declaration where they will make will actually help for see how we improve safety, how we decongest the CTM, and how we improve driver training and driver behavior when a thing where people are interested in, especially driver training and transport regulation. So I tell you, thank you. We will continue constantly for the updating on transport matters, urban planning, and how they manage the environment, especially now with climate change and pollution. Now something we don't take precedence over a lot of things that affect your life. So I wish you all well in the coming week, and thank you all who participate, the one that we send message, and the one that we phone, and the one that we listen to it. Until we meet again, I mean, they say Tata from Sorry.
Thank you very much.